Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's webinar. So before I begin, I'm just going to go through a brief disclaimer and then we will commence. Beyond Trader LLC is strictly a research publishing firm. The information we publish is based on our opinions, plus our quantitative models, statistical and financial data, and independent research. This service is not registered with any financial regulatory agency, such as the SEC or any other organization or governmental body. By using our platform or our services, you acknowledge that we do not provide personalized recommendation or advice. Alternative asset classes are volatile investments and carry significant risk. Please do your own research before making any financial decisions. Okay, so the purpose of today's webinar is to basically go through our selection of indicators, and we can have a feel for what's going on with the market, and also at the same time you get a good understanding of actually how to read our indicators, and I can hopefully help you through the process. So I think today a good place to start will be with one of our staple indicators, and that is Biyond Atlas. So in case you didn't know, the Biyond Atlas indicator, it kind of utilizes the power of machine learning to analyze six crucial categories of market factors, and this provides traders obviously with the confidence to take trades or not. And I think something that we really like to kind of say in regard to this indicator is that it can basically, as well as kind of predicting market tops and bottoms, it can also help you understand overbought and oversold conditions, and it can also as well identify when you should maybe be in the market and out the market, depending on what side of the trade that you're on. So I guess the first thing to say about our Beyond Atlas indicator is that it is an inverted indicator, in that the price and the indicator typically go the other way. So if, for example, we're seeing Bitcoin going lower, then we'll see this moving into the red region, which is the bearish zone. And when it starts to move out of the bearish zone, it's a good sign, and for a very strong signal or a buy signal, we need to see it moving into the green zone. Another key thing to note is that if we move underneath the 100 level, that's typically the bullish or bearish marker. If we move inside to into the gray zone either side of that, then that's really the neutral zone. So if I can give you a little bit of a backstory about what has been going on with Beyond Atlas. So basically, after the summer period of consolidation in 2024, Atlas started to generate a fantastic buy signal in the green zone, and that very much worked out pretty perfectly along with our other indicators. And since then, since we topped out, and obviously the early part of this year, it's been moving away and it's been in the bearish zone. And again, it's worked out perfectly because the market has had a significant correction. And now the interesting part is that we've moved into one of the most oversold areas ever for the indicator. I think it's in the top 5 ever in since the time that it's been tracking Bitcoin, and now we've started to move lower. So the interesting part is there a significant bottom in the market now, seeing as that we're moving lower? So what we ideally are looking to see next week is for this indicator to move outside of the red zone and into the neutral zone. As you can see, if we zoom up on this a little bit closer, which if you go onto our website, you're easily able to do yourself. If we zoom in a little bit closer, over the last couple of days, you can see this it's been dropping quite significantly, but the drop there has been pretty steady, which is good to see. And we can see there's a double top there in place, which is very, very good. And also, we're creeping into that sort of area where we're around 185 at the moment. I think 150 is where we start to move into the gray zone, and 100 is obviously the bullish bearish marker. So going into next week, what does this tell us? It tells us that the bearish momentum in the market is starting to weaken, and we're moving into a much more neutral phase, but the pressure is off of the market in terms of making new lower lows. So this is one of the metrics that we use for confirmation for our ideas in terms of trading and what our other indicators are saying. So with that said, I think it might be a good time to have a look at what the long-short ratio is saying. So basically, what we like to do with this indicator, we like to use it as an indicator that looks at the positioning of traders specifically on the global Binance accounts. And what we want to see is an inverse price relationship. So typically with this indicator, if traders are starting to short the market, then Bitcoin will go the other way and vice versa. So if Bitcoin is dropping, typically traders are trying to long it. So the good thing at the moment is that this ratio is in the red zone, which means that traders are desperately trying to short the market. And the price, as you can see, has been consolidating and it's waiting for probably one final and decisive move before it picks a direction. But the fact that traders are shorting the market is a very, very good sign, and it's something to watch out for next week. If this short bias remains in place, which it has over the last 7 days, then there's a high probability, given that the correlation with this indicator is inverted, is that the market is going to continue higher. If you factor in what we've previously discussed about our other flagship indicator, Beyond Atlas, and that bearish momentum is weakening, all indications is that this up move could continue. So that's something to know going into next week. And as I say, you can go on our website anytime, and you can monitor these positionings in real time. So let's have a look at another one of our flagship indicators, and that is Beyond Vanguard. So Beyond Vanguard, it has been probably one of the most reliable indicators for us, and I think a good place to start is with the higher time frame. So as everybody knows, Bitcoin has been in correction mode, and what we want to see with this indicator is it's color coded, and the colors will tell us what to do very basically. So if we can go back to that very interesting period last summer, the market started to go orange and red, which let us know to get over them, to get out of the market, because we're probably seeing a correction. And when it started to turn green, it generated a buy signal. Obviously, this correlated very nicely with Beyond Atlas, and obviously the long versus short ratio. So a real three confirmation signs from each indicator there, giving us the sign to go long, and obviously new all-time highs for Bitcoin. And since then, probably the later part of January, Vanguard on a weekly time frame has started to tell us orange, get into cash and get out of the market, and red, if you want to sell, you can, or if you want to completely just step aside, depending on your strategy, do that. So at the moment, we're kind of engulfed between red and orange, and we don't have any signals at the moment. So if you're saying to yourself, okay, I'm not bearish, but how do I know when the market is going to recover? The simple answer is you need to go through the other time frames that we have for Vanguard, and that'll give you an indication of when it is likely to turn. Because the problem with Vanguard is it is obviously a fantastic signal generator in trending markets, but it's a little bit lagging. So sometimes we have to run down the time frames to know what's happening. So the 3-day, as you can see, a fantastic signal there when it started to turn orange after a large period of blue and green. So we can see that this has been flagging to stay out of the market. And sadly, even though the market has turned somewhat from the lows, on those lower time frames, it's still, or on the 3-day rather, it's still saying it's orange. So it's still pretty bearish. So there is no particular sign at the moment. One thing that we do have, if you go on to TradingView, and we have a Vanguard 2.0. So this gives you a very much a real-time positioning of the color changes. So you can see in real time when they're changing in color. But the differences between this Vanguard 1.0 is that you have to wait for the actual price closes before you see the color changes. So for example, one of these 3-day candles, if we get a big move up, it could start to turn green, in fact, and you can see that on the 2.0, but you wouldn't be able to see the color change on the website here until that close had happened. So that's something to watch out for. So the 3-day is telling us to probably be a bit careful in the market at the moment, as there's no bona fide signal, even though we're getting some encouraging signs from Atlas and also the long versus short ratio. So it's a different story on the daily time frame. The daily time frame is completely flipped to blue, which means you should be considering to go long or long. And we've even seen yesterday the first green candle since the end of December, I believe, the end of January. So as you can see, over the last few days, these blue daily bars have been saying, yes, it's time to tentatively look to buy, and obviously, much better than we've been seeing on the 3-day and the weekly. So early tentative signs of a recovery in Bitcoin. It's obviously very crucial that we start to make higher highs. As traders, there's something we watch out for. So the recent swing high around 88,000 and 89 will be very important going forward, probably for the colors to maintain. So something that also is worth noting is that, as well as the 1 day, we typically look at the 12-hour, 8-hour, 6-hour, and 4-hour. For me, the 12-hour, the 3-day, and the weekly are really the kings in terms of the timeframes that I pay strong attention to. And we can see at the moment that the 12-hour has been encouragingly showing some green, again, the first time since February. And we can see that blue and green there are the majority color. And when you have the majority color, it kind of gives you the leaning of the market. So going forward, we really need to see basically, even though these lower time frames are encouraging for short-term moves, for the prevailing trend to continue, we really need to see that 3-day starting to flip. And I would envision that the weekly candle wouldn't really start to flip until we moved above 100,000. But if we can see these strong factors that Vanguard encompasses in terms of its analysis and the color changes, then ideally we probably need to see Bitcoin trading above 90,000 for the 3-day to flip. So I hope you enjoyed a brief rundown of our indicators, and moving into next week, I think I can say that Bitcoin, based on 2 of our indicators, it's got a strong chance of continuing higher. However, we need to see that further confirmation from Vanguard. And if you want to look a little bit deeper into our indicators, you can go on our website and read through the quantitative framework if you want to have a very in-depth look at how these indicators are created, and also some of the back-tested track records as well for them, and the probability of them working out. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this webinar this week. I'll be posting it every week and giving you a rundown on what our indicators are going to do. Thank you very much, and I will see you soon.